The Nikki Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.nikkiclarkenetwork.com.
Hey. All right. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? You doing good? Yeah. Awesome. It's so great to be back in Montreal. We're here at the Montreal Arts Centre, 1844 William Street in Griffintown. And happy Black History Month to you. Yes. Happy Black History Month. It's been so busy. But, before I get into anything, I want to ask you a question. What time is it?
Hot Topics time!
Yes, right. It's time for Hot Topics time. And what Hot Topics are, it's what's trending on social media. It's what people are talking about when they're at the water cooler, chatting, converging. So how many people caught the All-Star game last week, the NBA All-Star game? Make some noise if you did.
All of us.
Yeah. Pretty good. Toronto hosted some, heavyweight basketball players, and the Toronto, the whole streets were like lined with celebrities. Everywhere you went, you bumped into a celebrity. I ran into Rick Fox, the Fox himself, and took a picture with him at the movie theater. Do you know who he is? Rick Fox was married to Vanessa Williams, tall, 6'9", NBA professional basketball player back in the day, and now he does other things. Gorgeous man. I like to talk. When I saw Rick Fox, not a word out of me. I was standing there. Something took my tongue. He was so handsome, and he's just a very gracious guy. So, hopefully Rick Fox hears this and, tweet me. But, did you see what happened with Nelly Furtado when she sang the rendition of "O Canada"? Did you hear her rendition of it? She played with the notes, and it was, some notes were changed, and she did her own little artistic take, and people were furious all over social media. There were people who were thinking that she should just fly away from that whole experience. I don't know. Did you hear it? Yeah. What? Yeah. So, I don't know. So, some people are saying it's really not a good idea to take liberty with, something like the national anthem, especially for Americans who may be hearing the Canadian anthem for the first time. It might, throw them off the next time they hear it. So, that's how it went. And then there was a musical legend, Maurice White from Earth, Wind and Fire. He passed away at the age of 74, so he'll be surely missed. And one of my favorite songs, September. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Some really funky tunes from Earth, Wind and Fire, and he led the greatest, so we're going to miss him. Remember Vanity Six? Remember that group? Yes. Yeah. So the men are clapping. The very sexy Vanity Six group, and Vanity, whose name is actually Denise Matthews. She passed away last week at 57. She was, the protege of Prince, or otherwise known as Prince, the symbol, and died of kidney problems. So it's really too bad. Two musical icons, passed away last week. But it's been a really busy month for Black History Month. There's been a lot of activities going on in the city of Toronto as well as Ottawa, and I've been very blessed to been asked to participate in speaking engagements. And I met all kinds of ministers of parliament, and don't tell anybody, but I may be meeting the Prime Minister next week, so I'm really looking forward to that and sharing the good word of Black History Month. So we have a fantastic show for you today. You don't want to go anywhere. You are here, the Nikki Clarke Show, live at the Montreal Arts Centre. Be right back. Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. Sitting beside me is a fantastic lady. She is a motivational speaker. She's a hand analyst, and she's the author of Ruby Red Shoes. Please welcome Kristine Gravelle to the show.
How are you doing? Doing good.
Awesome. You look lovely.
Thank you.
And I have to look down at those shoes. Goodness gracious. Love them. Love the sparkle.
Yeah, I had to get Dorothy's shoes.
You had to get Dorothy's shoes, yeah. And someone said, are they pointing to Kansas?
Before. I'll just.
however, where it leads to Kansas. So tell me a little bit about your book. This is amazing. Ruby Red Shoes, Empowering Stories on Relationships, Intuition, and Purpose.
The book is inspired in some respects. I'm a night owl, and so I was working late one night, and I tapped into just the awareness that we're on a swing back to women being their natural selves, tapping into why they're here, trusting their gut instincts, their intuition, and then bringing that out into the world. And so that is the foundation of the book. It's the journey of women back to themselves again.
Okay. Do you think women have been lost for some time?
They've been doing things the man way. And so we've had enough.
What is the man way?
The man way is about forcing, it's about doing, do. And so it's really moving back to having a choice, using our energy in smart ways. We can, if you think about water, we can force our way through water like Niagara Falls. We can meander or we can just sit still, but we have the choice now. So we're practiced enough with forcefulness. Now we can actually choose which one we want to do in any given moment.
So is it like working smarter instead of harder?
Yep.
Okay, I like that
Work
choice.
smart.
Yeah.
Work smart.
So you put this book together. It's a compilation, an
It
anthology. How many stories are in this
There are
book?
30 stories, so it's almost a kind of like a chicken soup for the soul. They're short stories, but they're very powerful. 30 of them, so myself and 29 other women who've contributed to this book in one of those three areas: relationship, intuition, or purpose.
Okay. And in the areas of relationship, what can we find in the book?
I originally started out with the relationship between men and women, but the women in the book actually broadened it out. So it's relationship in general. We've got some on relationships between men and women, the relationship with themselves. There's a mom and daughter in there. It's really a broader spectrum. I had to sort of release it at some point to let the women tell the stories that needed to be said.
Their own way.
In their own way.
Mm-hmm. And then the intuition?
Oh, that one there, trusting your inner wisdom and what's been the journey of a lot of people, a lot of women on that path. Lots of scrapes, lots of bruises, falling down, but in the end getting back up. Something inside just saying, you know what, no, you can do it. It's go for it.
Yeah, this is the time.
Yeah.
And then standing in your own power and
Yeah.
Embracing your purpose. So that is a monumental thing to embrace. When did it happen for you?
Probably about 3 years ago. I've always been on a journey of personal growth. A lot of creativity, lots of talents. My job history reflects that. So about everything from communications, HR, admin, graphic design.
Very corporate.
Very corporate, but I'm also trained. It's interesting that we're in this space because I am a fine arts student. I am an art history student, yes. And so I have a lot of creativity in my background. I'm a singer-songwriter. It's part of my path. And so I was trying to set up my business and I couldn't figure out what I was going to do. Relationships, I don't know. I mean, I did energy healing, all of that stuff across the board. And so I had my hands analyzed by one of my business mentors. Actually, she interviewed somebody who did this. And I thought, if someone who's making in excess of $1 million a year is actually giving kudos to somebody who does this scientific hand analysis, non-predictive hand analysis, I'm going to pay for a session. And it answered in 1 hour. It actually identified what I was here to do and why I was having so many challenges narrowing it down.
Okay. So so that introduction then led you to becoming a hand analyst.
It did.
Right?
It helped me on such a deep level piece together things that I had been wondering about since I was 12, 13, and experiences that I was having. It answered pretty much everything, and I thought, you know what, I need to help people with this. It's that powerful.
How long have you been doing this now, the analysis?
2 years. 2 years.
Okay, so in layman's terms, how would you describe the whole process of
Um,
analyzing your hand?
It's actually fairly simple. Someone invests in a session with me. I send them their kit, they make their prints, they send it back, and it doesn't really matter where they live. I've got clients in New Zealand, the UK, down in the United States, across Canada, even a client in Costa Rica and the Dominican. So we meet using online software. Meeting software doesn't matter. We use that technology to bridge the gap.
No. When Kristine asked me to get
Yeah.
involved so that I could understand how it worked, you asked me to take, oh, my hands are so dry, sorry, don't look at my hands. But you asked me to just take a picture of my palms, and I sent it to you, and then from there you're able to analyze from the lines in my hand where I was at.
Yes.
And then there was a lot of
There's a lot of information.
lot of
there.
information that we drew
Yeah.
from that,
Yeah.
and it made a lot of sense to me. Yeah.
Well, I look at the fingerprints because they're never changing. They stay with you for your life. So your life purpose is contained in those prints and some other stuff too. And then the lines are actually connected in with the neurology of your brain. So belief systems, habits, all that stuff, it's changeable. You can change that.
So your lines can change.
They can.
With your thought patterns.
Yep.
Okay. So if I want more lines, I have to think a different way, or shorten the lines, or
Or
it all
eliminate
depends.
lines.
Or eliminate lines.
Yes.
It's all in the neural pathways. Then interesting. Interesting. Where in the book is the most transforming for you? I know compiling this must not have been an easy task. I mean, it's a rewarding task, but it takes time to manage all the personalities and put the book together. But when you go through this, what was the most transformational thing for you?
I'd say the journey women have had with their intuition and not listening to it and practicing with it. You know, at times, a lot of people describe it as the voice.
Yeah.
There's some kind of just this knowing within, and they listen to it. It usually shows up at a very poignant moment, and they listen to it, and in many cases it's saved their life, or it's given them that much energy to actually keep going on.
Awesome. So are we going to expect another book, a part 2? Really
Possibly.
read? Yeah.
Possibly. Shh.
And where can people get a copy of the book now?
You can actually find it on Amazon.com. And I also have, if someone does want an autographed copy, you can find it on my website. You can order one and I'll personally sign it and send it to you. So that's www.kgr-handanalysis.com.
Okay, fantastic. And the same way people can connect with you about the hand analysis
Absolutely,
at the
yes.
same address?
Same address.
When you were putting this book together, did you have someone give you advice or mentor you through this whole process?
Yes, actually, the interesting thing was so I had my journey with these 3 topics, and then I bumped into someone who's a publisher. She lives down, it's just outside of Toronto, and her name is Anita Sashesky. And so
She's a
she
great
owns
friend.
LWL Publishing, publishing house. And so she and I talked, and she actually mentored me through this whole process. And
She's a fabulous lady.
she's awesome. She's wonderful. And so she was a really very instrumental in the book process from A to Z and then continues to provide support after the fact with just marketing and things like that. So it's she comes from a different approach than a lot of publishers do.
She's very nurturing.
She's nurturing, and all of the material, all of the books that she produces deal with personal growth.
So what's next for you?
Goodness, more hand analysis, more singing, songwriting, just stepping into my purpose, which is, passion, freedom, and love, and being all of those things that I do in life have to be connected in with that.
Okay, oh, wonderful. Kristine, can you just take a look into the camera lens and just offer some advice or encouragement to someone who's considering writing a book, what would you recommend to them? What would you say?
To have a story or have a reason, your focus, your topic that motivates you, even on a day when you don't feel like going on. There's something about that topic that lights you on fire and keeps you moving forward no matter what.
Awesome. Very wise words. Thank you very much. Kristine Gravelle, everybody. Go get your Ruby Red Shoe book. Thank you. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Show. And sitting beside me is funny man Andrew Searles. Please welcome him to the show. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm amazing. Really happy to see you.
Likewise.
It's been a while. We've been doing kind of the online contacting each other, but seeing face to face, it's been a few years.
It's been almost 10 years, almost 10 years actually.
Almost 10 years,
We've known each other.
That's awesome.
So it's good to see you're doing your thing now, and
Thank you.
Got an audience and camera and a lamp.
And a lamp. A lamp has lights. And you were, you're coming up in the stand-up comedy scene back then, and we did a little interview that long ago, and now look at you, headlining the Underground Railroad comedy show. So tell me about that.
Well, the Underground Railroad was basically started about 5 years ago when I just finished university. And
where did you go?
Concordia University, and I have a degree in marketing from John Molson. It looks nice on my wall. It's kind of nice. My parents aren't happy with that, but
Your parents are from Barbados?
My dad's from Barbados, but my mom's from Jamaica.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, what does she say about the underused degree?
She just looks at me and just goes, and just walks away. That's it. I was like, she's proud of me. But yeah, so when I graduated from Concordia, I was like, you know what? I really wanted to really take my comedy career into like a really as far as I possibly could. And I had this idea for a comedy show, and then Rodney Ramsey, who I actually went to high school with and we did comedy with, wanted to come up with this idea of just doing an all-black Canadian comedy tour. Okay. And I think because of my idea of wanting to do something and his idea just kind of came together. That's how the tour kind of formed. Okay,
and then with the timing of Black History Month, February.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's when the kickoff happens every year.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So every February we go out on the road. We do shows in like Ottawa, Toronto. We've added on so many Canadian cities over the years of like Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver.
Winnipeg in February must be like no joke.
They were serious about their winter. Like when we touched down. We were in Victoria, actually. It was like plus 15 in February. So nice, so beautiful. They get to Winnipeg, and it was minus 55 with the wind chill. Yeah. And it was actually, we were in Winnipeg on the coldest day, and it was actually colder in Winnipeg than on the surface of Mars. Yeah. And it was, when we got there, and we were waiting to go on, and then the weather lady was in front of us doing it with the green screen, and she mentioned it, and we're like, and it's pretty, basically you go outside and you breathe, and you just feel ice just go down into your, it's really bad.
Your membranes are freezing. Wow, that is intense.
Yeah.
So who are the members of the Underground Railroad?
The original core five basically was myself, Ronnie Ramsey, Keisha Brownie, Daniel Woodrow, and Patrick Hay.
Okay.
And over the years, we've added on people, we've taken off people, but for the most part, it was basically us five. And now we're down to four. Patrick Hay had the priority with his comedy roster, but now it's just Woodrow, Keisha, myself, and Rodney.
Okay, so just different personalities, little tastes of what's happening in their lives. So what do you talk about when you get up and do your stand-up?
I talk about basically what life is like growing up, like what it's like being an Anglophone in Quebec, what it's like being the dating scene, what's going on in this world in terms of like how online is affecting the way dating is, and my experiences with women and takes on like political issues such as like gay marriage and like the topic of measles and why parents aren't getting kids vaccinated. Mm-hmm. They kind of touch on everything, and basically it's whatever I see it come across. I just want to bring it about on stage.
Okay, so let's talk about online dating then.
Yes. Swipe right. What, ladies?
Tinder, like, not
Exactly.
hot. Plenty of Fish. Have you ever done that?
You know what? I was on Plenty of Fish 2005, so I was like 19 going on this thing, and that was like the whole new world of online dating, and I was on it for a bit. So I was like, what am I on here? I don't wanna be on here anymore, and I just switched to being on Tinder, which is so much easier. But you know what? I actually use Tinder just to meet people. Like when I'm out west, I use Tinder. I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm in town, and we'll go for lunch, we'll go for drinks, and there's a lot of people I'm actually still in touch with to this day because of Tinder. So I just use it as a new way of networking, meeting people.
Okay. It's
And once in a while, I mean, you know, things happen, but for the most part.
That's awesome. So what are some of the challenges then that you faced as a comedian, but moreover as a Black comedian?
There's a lot of, you know what, it's kind of, because we live in Montreal, it's always hard to tell the difficulties of being a comedian versus the difficulties of being a Black comedian. For the most part, I find there's a lot of stuff where I've been on shows where people have said, hey, why weren't you the headliner? Well, you should have been headlining. And I tell them, hey, go and tell the comedy club owner, because for some reason he doesn't want to headline me. Mm-hmm. So we always try to figure out ways of trying to put ourselves out there. And using the Underground Railroad was basically another way of, okay, let's see how we can actually take this comedy tour and put ourselves out on the forefront. And I think as far as comedy tours go, I think the Underground Railroad is basically the only comedy tour that's happening consistently every year, and we've taken it on the road a lot, and still we don't get picked up for festivals, or I myself have never done Just for Laughs, and so then you figure out other ways of doing it.
You're funny.
I've
seen you at Yuck Yucks. I've seen you at Absolute Comedy in Toronto, and I think people need to know how funny you are. Can you give us a little taste?
I'm trying to see what I could do that won't get censored.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's always just trying to figure out other ways, and I've headlined myself twice in Montreal, and to sold out shows, and which is not many comics could actually do that, but yet still there's always a barrier that either festivals or comedy club owners watch you they put in your path, and you always surpass it, but for some reason it's never good enough.
Well, you've been doing this for some time now, right?
Years.
Yeah, 13 years. Yeah. So that's a testimony to, you know, your persistence.
Yeah.
And you must be good at what you do because you're in demand.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of jumping over those hurdles. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. But that's the problem, though. Even if the hurdles that they put out in front of us, no matter how many times I surpass them, and I'm like for example, like my headlining show in September of I've done 2 headlining shows, C'est moi, c'est chocolat, and C'est moi, c'est papa chocolat. I know, because ladies, C'est moi, c'est chocolat. And and both times I've had 5 shows, sold out all 5 shows. I've done that twice, and like I would say maybe on hand in Montreal, maybe 3 other comics could possibly do that. Mm-hmm. But yet festivals are like, well, let's see, and it's always excuses, so we always try to find ways of surpassing it. But that's the problem. That's where I don't know if that's because of that's how difficult this of the industry is, or that's because, oh wait, you know what, it's hard, but he's also Black, so let's make it even 10 times harder for him.
Do you think there'd be more mobility for you in the States?
That's a venue I'm actually looking down. Hopefully in a couple weeks I'll actually hear if I'll get my visa for that. Mm-hmm. And then pack up and leave.
And then you're not coming back?
And then I'm not coming back at all. I'll come back just to get my mother's ackee and saltfish and her dumplings and be like, peace, I gotta go do a show at the Apollo, and then that's it. And then go back to the States.
Speaking of West Indian parents, is that, you know, I'm Jamaican born. I have, you know, loving parents, but, you know, academically driven, very highly disciplined parents. And, you know, when I told them I want to be a TV show host, they said,
exactly.
Very similar to you. So how do they react to you being this touring comedian in their own language?
You know what? They've never really been supportive of it, but they've never really been against it either. I remember the first time they came to a show, my dad was just kind of like, oh, okay, get in the car. And that was it. But I think over the years they've seen me like on TV doing interviews and touring a lot. So I think they've kind of realized that, like, oh no, this is what he wants to
serious.
do, and exactly, yeah, and they're also seeing the fruits of that, being like, oh well, that's my son on TV in a McDonald's commercial, or that's my son being interviewed on CTV Edmonton or Calgary or whatever. So they're there.
And the Nikki Clarke show.
And the Nikki Clarke show, exactly.
Yeah,
So right now they know, like, okay, it's going good so far.
There's longevity in what you're doing. Yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
definitely. So what would you say to someone who's thinking about using comedy as a career?
Write all the time. Anything you see that's funny, just write it down, get on stage and try it. And a lot of it's self-learning, basically. Like, you get on stage, it doesn't work, now try and figure out why it doesn't work. And if you're lucky enough, you might be around certain comics that might help you along the way. But it's a lot of writing and it's a lot of work. But if you keep at it, it'll pay off. And then you'll be on the Nikki Clarke show.
What? I have a little comedy. Can I work my chops?
Oh, go ahead, knock yourself out.
And you can be the Simon Cowell of comedy and judge what I do. Is that okay?
Yeah, knock yourself.
Okay, well, here I go. So this is my stand-up bit. So I'm of Jamaican heritage, and sometimes when I get antsy to get out and that, I call up my girls and we go out for a drink, go out to a restaurant. This one time we went out to a reggae club,
Yes.
where there are a lot of other Jamaicans, a lot of other Jamaican men, and so I walked in there with my friends and. I noticed that I got spotted. Does anyone know what that means when you get spotted? Spotted is when you are the fixation of a Jamaican man's desire for the entire night, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And
it's like the predator. When the predator sees you inside that X-ray vision,
yeah,
like the
they're like,
target.
so walking, and I noticed the red, golden, green leisure suit, and the dread behind me, kind of inching his way closer and closer, and I'm trying to pretend that he doesn't exist. So I have my back to him, and then I hear, psst. So my girls are looking around, they're like, I think somebody likes this. So don't encourage him. So I just keep looking away, I avert my eyes, and I hear, psst. So what do? I just keep ignoring him. So then I hear, Browning. Don't answer. Then I hear, red gal. Then I hear, Talia. Oh, so my girlfriends are laughing. I'm like, this guy is like, he's into you. I'm like, please, just don't encourage him. So then he keeps going, Talia Browning, Talia Browning. So I turn around and I'm so irritated. I go, yeah? And he says, you never hear me call you? So my girls are like, they're laughing. He says, me like you, Me like you. Me like how you're red and thick. So everybody now in the club is realizing this guy, has this thing for me, and I'm dying of embarrassment. Like if a hole would open up, I would jump in. I say a little silent prayer, like, Lord, make me invisible, but nothing's happening because the guy still sees me. So he says, when me look upon you, me think say you was a Virgo. And my girlfriends go, no, she's no virgin. I'm like, don't say anything. Just stop. So he says, hold on. When me look upon you, me think say you was a Cancer. So my girlfriend turns around because she's had it with him, and she says, if she's a Cancer, you must be an STD. Oh
my gosh. That's
thank
brutal.
You. And I thank you. End scene. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that sounds like Jamaican men's. I'm surprised he didn't say like, hey, blue dress.
Yeah, anything you're wearing, he'd be like on you. But yeah, so I'm really happy to have you here.
Yeah.
And where can people find you? Where can they contact you about the Underground Railroad?
The Underground Railroad, we do this every February, so people could check us out at theundergroundcomedyrailroad.com. They can also contact me through my website, andrewsearles.com, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. And
Harriet Tubman, she's not headlining.
She's not headlining, not this time. But she's made the way for us, which is kind of
She
nice.
sure made the way.
Yeah, she's the conductor, so yeah.
Awesome. Andrew, it's been a pleasure. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much for
much.
being here.
Appreciate it.
Andrew Searles, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate
Go
it.
check him out. We'll be back.
Blow dress. Blow dress.
All right. Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Clarke Show here, taped live at the Montreal Arts Centre. And sitting beside me is the communications manager for Le Théâtre Paradoxe. Please welcome Julien Rougerie. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, no, my pleasure, my pleasure. So tell me a little bit about Le Théâtre Paradoxe. I have to say, before we are guided by what you describe, I was there last summer,
Yes,
June.
you told me, yeah.
It was African Fashion Week, and I was one of the media sponsors. And when I was approaching the building, going up the stairs, I was like, is this a church? I wasn't quite sure, what I was going to find. But, as we went through the doors, it's just this incredible building, lights and fixtures, and just beautiful. So, how long have you been involved with the theater?
Well, I've been involved for about half a year now, but it's a pretty recent theater. We've been open for only 2 years, so we're a very recent venue in Montreal.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about the project, but it used to be the project of the Group Paradoxe. The Group Paradoxe is like our parent company, if I may say.
Okay.
It's a non-profit that does professional insertion for young adults.
Okay.
They often are in situation of exclusion in the job market.
Okay.
So what Group Paradoxe...
What do you mean in exclusion in the job market?
Well, it's young adults that have no work experience at all,
Okay.
that had some accidents, if I may say, in their lives. So
Okay.
it's really hard for them to find a job.
Okay.
So the goal of Group Paradoxe was to hire those people and train them as a technician in the audiovisual field. That's, for example, like sound technicians, light technicians, production technicians for concert shows, TV shows, everything audiovisual mostly.
Okay.
And so they were providing trainings for those young people of 30 weeks and 30 people each time. And they decided there was a church for sale in the neighborhood in 2010, so they decided to buy the church because the idea was the church could be a learning platform for these participants to the program. So
the concept was always about having a community platform, nonprofit organization.
Yeah, like the goal of Group Paradoxe is insertion for social and professional insertion for young people.
Okay.
So the idea was like to transform this church, to make a venue out of it, an active venue, and also a hands-on learning platform for the participants of the program.
So what is your role then as the communications manager? I imagine you must, juggle many roles, but what do you do to kind of keep it all together?
Well, we're a very, very small team. It's only 3 people under the leadership of the founder, Gérald Saint-Georges. So as a small, non-profit, like we do a little bit of everything. So I take care of the communications, cultural events, the box office, anything operational that, to help creating events and creating beautiful things at the Theatre Paradoxe.
Yeah, and keeping people tapped into what's going on.
As the communication manager, yes, it's, we have a Facebook page, Theatre Paradoxe, we have a website.
What upcoming events do you have?
We're still working on the programming for 2016, but we have dance shows, we have concerts. One of the goals of Theatre Paradoxe was also to revitalize the cultural life of the neighborhood. So we work with the Maison de la Culture of the city of Montreal. They're located right across the street.
Okay.
So we work with them on organizing free events, which is a very good thing for the neighborhood.
Where is the theater?
The theater is located in the southwest of Montreal, by the Monk Metro, and it's 5959 Monk.
Okay, is that Ville La Salle? Where is that exactly?
It's Villemar.
Villemar.
Yeah.
Okay. You're there to create inclusivity for people who may have been, for whatever reasons, prohibited from working where they are. So you give them job experience, and it's also creating a livelihood for them, but also excitement for the community.
Yeah. Exactly. Because the other goal was also to provide a real stage and a real venue for like local artists or people that don't have much visibility. We're really in favor of supporting smaller comedians or artists and provide them with you've seen the space, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
And the thing compared to different venues is that we're different in the way that we are socially responsible. We train those young people. Everything for the shows are set up by these young professionals.
Right. And how old are they?
They're between 18 to 35. Yeah.
So young professionals.
Yeah.
So you must have seen a number of people come through your doors, and you must have witnessed transformations happen. When people start and they go through the process and then they finish. What was it like for you to witness the transformation? How were you transformed by witnessing the transformations of others?
Well, first of all, I before I was working there, I was an event manager. So I worked in many different kind of events, many different kind of industries. And when I learned about Theatre Paradox, I learned that they were doing things a different way, that they were being socially responsible and also respectful of the environment. Like that's a very big thing at Theatre Paradox. And I was like, oh wow, like there's a way to combine organizing events in a venue and make it different at a social level and for the environment. And I was really drawn by the project, and I ended up joining the team. So that was like the main transformation, at least for me, like to realize that this is possible. Like you don't have to choose between being a venue or being socially responsible or being respectful of the environment. Like you can do it all in one project, and that's the project of Group Paradox and Theatre Paradox.
Yeah, that's the premise for what they're doing,
Exactly.
their goals.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So how can people get in touch with you to either book an event or maybe even to go through the experience of being trained through the theatre?
Oh, so for the insertion program, like that's managed by the Paradox Group, which is located at the same place. So we're easy to find. Just come visit us at 5959 Monk. And we also have a website, theatreparadox.com. Paradox with an E, the French way. And just visit our website or come by visit, and we'll be happy to either work on an interesting event or see what we can do together.
Okay. Could you take us out in French to someone watching right now in that lens? How would you encourage them if they're feeling, a little bit down about not getting a job right now in this economy? What would you say to them in your language?
In French? Je dirais que la vie est pleine d'imprévus et qu'il y a beaucoup, c'est très facile de se retrouver en situation d'exclusion par rapport à l'emploi, et que le groupe Paradox, c'est une solution pour avoir son premier travail et pouvoir se lancer dans le monde du travail et acquérir une expérience qui peut être prometteuse pour le reste de votre parcours.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Julien.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate what you do for the community. Julien Rougerie. We'll be back.
The Nikki Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.nikkiclarkenetwork.com.